A hustler is somebody who's going to take care of their family.
I'm glad you clarified that. And there's a touchy spot when it comes to investment and money, right? They think that these things are beyond their reach.
Oh, gosh,
meaning that they think these things are not affordable.
Right.
They think these things are not doable. Problem solve, communicate. Strategy is advocacy.
Yes.
Right?
You care about your family so much, and I care about my family so much. And then we were entrepreneurs, right? So trying to take care of our home lives, number one, and bringing the entrepreneurship, the CEO, the boss into that.
Hey everybody, welcome to CEO Talks with PEM. My name is Rick Hughes of Peace Entertainment Media, and we're going to have a special episode. It's special to me because it's heartfelt. And it's heartfelt because this is a colleague, this is a friend, this is a warm welcome for an individual who's helped me in my time of need, helped out my family and my father. When she says she's going to do something, she does it. Her word is her bond. And it's the one and only Ronice Lowe of BrightSun HomeCare. Welcome, Ronice.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate all this love and the opportunity to come and just, share your studio and your greatness, and bringing it to the people. I appreciate you for that. Thank you.
So, should we make the announcement now?
Might as well. Don't let them wait too long.
Yeah. So it's official, right? We are putting a Ronice stamp on this. She is the host of CEO Talks with PEM, right? She's the new host. We welcome her with open arms, and we appreciate you for all that you do in the community, serving others in the business community. Not stalking you, but I've been watching what you've been doing. You know what I mean?
You've
been doing some great things in the community. You know what I mean? What's the most recent thing that you got going on?
So right now, the biggest thing right now is I went through a leadership class with Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce, and I'm official member now. Thank you to VBACC, and graduated a couple of weeks ago. And it was great. And everything that I learned as far as leadership, because there's so much going on as far as behind the scenes of entrepreneurship, as you already know, and the topics that we spoke about and the activities that we did, it was just amazing. So that's the latest thing.
So let's dig into that. You say graduate.
Yes.
What were you graduating from exactly?
So the leadership class went through 10 weeks of different topics. So you learn about finances, about getting money like grants and so on and so forth. You learn about taking care of yourself, self-care, just different topics. And from all of that, piecing it together to be your best self when you are in entrepreneurship. So, yeah.
So it's official. It's not YouTube University.
No, it's not YouTube University. It's definitely official certifications.
The thing about education is important to me, right? My mother was big on education.
Absolutely.
My family pushed that in the home. My mother was on the school board.
Right.
She went from PTA to PTA president to school board to being a House of Delegate for the state of Maryland.
That's dope.
Right. So I had to do what I was supposed to do.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? If I'm got them House of Delegate tags on my car, I better be right, do right. When you leave 706 out on the terrace, she said, I represent her, right? In the family, right? So, very little room for people, in this society, in the community, to not want to take care of their family. But we have people out there that need that help, right? It seems like they don't want to do it, but they actually do. They actually need someone to come in and help them in their situation with their family, and you fill that void.
Right.
So tell me how you fill that void.
So just to introduce Ronice Lowe BrightSun HomeCare CEO and founder, yep. I started this because back in the day when we were growing up, my grandmother's house was the community spot to be, right? So I grew up around a lot of aunties, uncles, cousins, family, friends, right? So it was just something that was always instilled in me of being a part of the community. So with that being said, when I have since I've been in healthcare, I've seen a need outside of the office. So when they come into the office, I get a story, but it's not always the right story or the true story. So I figure prevention is king is my thing. So if I go into their home, which is very personal, so these people have to trust you, right? It can't be just, oh, I just met you off the street, come into my house. You know, they want to have that rapport. So I try to build that rapport to let them understand that I'm real about this. I'm passionate about this. I love what I do, but also that I'm here to help you. You're not just a number. Because when, you know, they come into the office, whether that's the hospital or outpatient or for elective surgery, you know, they're checking off boxes, and insurance has to be, you know, make sure that they're top priority. But sometimes the patient gets left out, and I didn't like that. So when I come to my patients, they understand that I'm there for them. They are not a number. I'm taking care of you, not a diagnosis.
That's excellent. That's excellent, because you did that exact same thing for me and my father, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
You know, I don't know if I told you that before, but you know, thank you very much for all that you've done. You know, you're an excellent person. You know what I mean? It's out in the community too that people talk about what you do. You know what I mean? You know, Retta Young loves you. Everybody loves you.
Love her.
You know what I mean? You guys are on a new tour.
Oh,
right.
So
seems like
yeah.
it's a tour, right?
So that's another thing I'm doing. Thank you, Rick, for reminding me. Tiger Team. So we have a group of individuals. We have lawyers. We have will planners, estate lawyers, Retta, who's assisted living locators, myself, RN, also have a couple of other people on it, but Remax is on that, Matt. So what we do is we do a panel discussion, and it's basically a Q&A where we go to like community centers, adult learning centers, libraries, and we just have a panel discussion. Let them ask us questions, and we answer them about what they need, what their needs are, because it's about meeting people where they are, right? So we can be of service to them. And so it's just a great time. We had another one recently Monday that was excellent. We had so much interaction. So many people. It was in Alexandria, I believe, and it was great. The response was phenomenal. So I love doing that. We've been doing that for about a little over a year now, almost 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bar. Meet people where they are.
Absolutely.
And service them.
Absolutely.
Right? You know, I think that's big. Shout out to Retta Young.
Absolutely,
right?
Retta.
You know? So I think that you're valuably needed in this community, Prince William County, right? And other counties or whatever. But am I correct in saying that you service areas outside of Prince William County? Yeah,
so my company, BrightSun HomeCare, is a mobile case management service. So we come to you. We, wherever you are, whether that's in assisted living, whether that's in a private residential home, living with your children, adult children. Right. We come to you and service you there. Yeah.
Cool. I think that one of the things that I think we need in this business community, right, is to build as a community. So with that being said, right, what do you suggest, right? What do you see that's kind of lacking in our business community that people need to work on, build their skills on, or just implement in their own lives, not just in the community? Right.
So as far as community and building that community, I'm listening to a lot of other podcasts and things now as I drive and things. Sometimes, I just turn the radio off and just think, right? Because there's so much going on in the world today, and community is definitely where we're going to be able to move forward, right? So, a lot of people individually, we have our strengths, but when we come together, it's like that tight knit, thread, it's harder to pull us apart, right? What is it? 1 versus 3 strands or whatever that saying is. But if we build more as a community, and just understanding that again, we all have strengths and also we all have weaknesses. If we build on each other's strengths, understand that the weaknesses are there, but if you build on your strengths within a community, I think that's how you move forward and how you grow together, right? And it's not only for you as an individual in your household, but it's for that, it could be for that whole block, right? You have one person that is great at plastering walls, right? And then you have another person that's great at building stairs. Together, y'all can build a whole house together, right? So just bringing our strengths together is a way for us to succeed even more as a community, as entrepreneurs, and just as individuals, people.
Yeah, I think what we see in a lot of areas, I don't know if you want to say, but I'm going to say it. We see a lot of followers, right? So people are following other people, right? I think now more than ever, it's time to be selective as to who we listen to, who we follow and stuff like that. I think a lot of times it's just regurgitated information, right? You hear a trend and then a lot of people go and repeat that trend. Not me, but other people go and they repeat that trend as if they came up with it. Right?
Gotcha.
So there's a lot of posers, imposters out there, right? And not that they do it intentionally, but, they put it in out there that they're sharing information, right? But we know that you're supposed to reference those individuals, right? You know what I mean?
We always talk about how, so I'm not one to follow trends. I'm going to be the trendsetter. I'm going to be the one that put it out there. I'm a hustler. That's just young. I've been doing what I need to do. And it's not about following trends, right? But for those people who do follow trends or who do want to bite, you know what I'm saying? You have your own source, right? So they might bite off of you. They might, do what you're doing, but your secret source is the one that's going to propel it. Right. People, like we were talking about earlier, authenticity comes through. Authenticity, people going to see and they're going to cling to that or not. So if that's not their thing and they just pulled it from somewhere else and just trying to make things work, it's not gonna be, what it's supposed to be when you do it, when the original person does it, when that authentic person comes to and be like, oh, this, they ain't even gotta say it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you only gotta speak about things like that because it's gonna come through when that poser or that biter is doing it. It's gonna come through as like, oh, I seen this somewhere before, or I seen somebody do this better. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to follow towards that, right?
Like, I take a different stance and a lot of people say that, there's no competition, right? I know that's the thing. That sounds good for a lot of people.
Yeah, but there's competition.
Oh, yeah. In an academic sense and from a hustler's point of view, from an individual who lives in a capitalistic society.
Oh, when we speak about hustlers, it's not anything illegal. This is hustlers as in... No. So let me put that out there because people are like, oh, hustler. No. Hustler could be anything. You out here, with the ice cream. You out here, doing food trucks, and you taking care of your parents, or you got a side business of a store, whatever that is. A hustler is somebody's going to take care of their family, right?
Right.
Okay.
And I'm glad you clarified that. And to expand on that, right? And I'll go back to what I was saying in a minute, but I want to say this because you before I forget, I'm just getting up in age, right? So I'm gonna say this before I forget, then I'll try to backtrack. So along that term, right? I think what a lot of people don't do is that they don't put themselves in the fire, right? I think, academically they may be sound, right? Or some they go to the YouTube University, right? And bite and follow off for others, biting off for more they can chew, right? And then they try to do everything themselves, the do-it-yourself community and all that or whatever, right? But I think that putting yourself out there and just doing it, putting yourself in a situation when you can't turn around, you can't turn back. Yeah. You just got to do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, little story. Yeah. Right. So, when we was living in Prince George's Community County, right, in Maryland, right, our very first, my first child, not my first child, but actually my second child, and she was a newborn. We couldn't find a daycare, right? At the same time, it was big business. Everybody had a daycare.
It's still big business.
Right. And they were all booked. Right? They were all booked. We had 2 daycares in the neighborhood, and then you have the academies and all that or whatever, but they stayed booked, right? So we couldn't find, someone to watch our child, right? Not even family, friends, or whatever, right? Referrals, everybody was booked, right? So then, luckily, in our neighborhood, right, a daycare provider came available.
Okay.
Right. So we took our child over there. Everything matched up. Everything was good.
Yeah.
Right. So it seemed.
Oh.
Right. So our child, was catnapping. That's what babies do.
Right.
He's an infant.
Right.
Right. So 2 weeks, right, get a note in the bag, the bottom of the bag. Good thing my wife checked. Right. Basically said that we can no longer watch your child because she catnaps, right? And I'm kind of like, isn't that the industry you're in? Don't you deal with that,
Absolutely.
Problem, solution, resolve, right? But they couldn't do that as a business, right? They've been in business for some time, right? Checked all their references, everything, you know what I mean? Because it's my child, right? So I said, well, we should go talk to her. My wife was like, I'll go talk to her. Like, nah, no cat fight. I'll go over there and I'll talk to her, right? So I went over there and I talked to her. And basically, I can't believe when I sat across from that lady, number one, she was upstairs talking to me. I'm like, first question was, who's downstairs with the kids? She's like, oh, my mother. I'm like, okay. Don't know if your mother's certified or not, but that's a whole different story. But nonetheless, I'm upstairs talking to the lady who runs the daycare. And she says, well, I need time. I need an hour to myself every day so that I can come upstairs and clean my house. Like, do what? Okay, but again, who's watching the kids downstairs? She's like, my mother, whatever, right? And my mother could not, deal or have the skills or whatever to work with your baby. I said, so it's not my baby, right? It's that you're not training and running a business, right? You're just on response mode, right? You're just on full hustler mode, right? You do this on the side, or this is your side hustle or whatever, or you do it full time, but you're not fully vested. You have to do things that's going to cost you time and money, right? In order to get your business to where it needs to be, right? And like, for example, people clean homes. They need to be licensed, insured, and bonded. If they come in there and break something in your home, right? Then your business is what, right? Can get sued, or something can happen to an individual and then it's your fault. Right?
Yeah.
So you want to protect yourself.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't do everything. They don't cross their T's and dot their I's when it comes to running a business. They want to do everything themselves, thinking that they can do each and everything well because some YouTube influencer told them that they can do it well. And it happens in my industry, and I know what happens in yours. You know what I mean? So what I see a lot is that, someone to say, hey, well, what kind of microphones do you use? Or what kind of equipment do you use? Or whatever. Like, if I told you, you still wouldn't know.
I wouldn't.
Or understand, right? It's just that somebody told them to ask me that. Right? You know what I mean? Or, they read something and a lot of times they think that they know because they heard somebody say it. You're the expert now because you heard somebody else say it. You know what I mean? And then you do it. Just because you follow something or do something that someone teaches you, it might not necessarily turn out the way that you think it's going to turn out. So what worked for them might not work for you.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So you have to put give it your own trial and error, your own experience. You got to go through some things. The people that we listen to or, follow or whatever, they've gone through all of this for you. Right? So they're trying to educate you on how it should be done or whatever. But you got to decide, do you want to cut your grass yourself? Do you have time to do that?
Is that a task that you can delegate? That's a great word in healthcare, delegate.
Or do you want to spend time in your business? Right?
Gotcha.
You know, is your business cutting grass? If your business is not cutting grass, right, and you're not spending time on your business, are you going to cut your grass, clean your house, and watch the kids in the daycare?
Right.
You know what I mean? It sounds like that's what she wanted to do, right? She wanted to clean her house. She wanted to watch the kids in the daycare. She wanted to have time to herself, right? She wanted to do it all and wear all these different hats. Do you find that going on in your industry? So
it's funny you say that because I've had my business open since 2021. I left my 9-to-5 in 23 to pursue it like wholeheartedly and deep. So I started networking, and for a year strong, I was networking. I was in all the rooms trying to run and be behind and see everything, and it burnt me out, right? It burnt me out because it's like, I can't do all of this, set up the administrative work, file all of this paperwork, do my social media. I couldn't do everything. So I, delegated some of those tasks, had some people doing my social media and things for me, but that can be expensive. So you got to like pick and choose where you're going to go, because that's another thing people don't talk about, or it's something they don't talk about, but also, there's not enough information out there of how to first start up a business. Like, I'm hearing now about finding a mentor and stuff, because at first I didn't hear about mentor. People were just telling you, this is what I did, but nobody was actually showing you, right? And I think that's a lot. And I'm going to say it for me as a new entrepreneur that I fell into, because it was like, I hear this, I see this company is doing that, my competition is doing this. I'm going to jump in there and just do it, but it wasn't the right way, right? I needed to actually find somebody, and actually this year, I found a mentor. I believe she's my mentor. Haven't told her yet, and I'm saying it now. She may or may not watch this, but Dr. Elizabeth O. I think she's going to be my mentor, because I'm helping her out in her business, and she does a lot of what I do, but she doesn't do the skilled nursing side of it, right? So we're working together. She's showing me the backside of the healthcare company, the agency part of it, the administrative side of it, and then I bring in my skill set, right? So we're working together, and I think it's going to be a great give and take, right? Because you want to find people who first understand your business, but also understand all of the nuances behind it. So again, people jump into things because they see YouTube University and stuff, and jumping is a great thing to do because you want to get started, but then sometimes you have to have that discernment to back up and say, okay, let's look at this whole picture and really dig into what is needed, what I need to do now, what I can delegate to someone else, and how I'm going to move forward.
Right. I think delegation is key.
Yeah.
Right. And there's levels to this.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? In the beginning, yes. Right. Know what you need to know. Get involved. Right. Get your academics straight. Get your bearings straight. Get an education on what it is that you would like to do. Right. A true education. Right. And then again, like you said, a mentor. Right. How does this play out? Right. Meaning that, okay, can you troubleshoot the situation that you're in? Right. If you can't troubleshoot the situation that you're in, right, then you need advice.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. You got to ask for help.
We have consultants or whatever. And then sometimes even when you go to those coaches and consultants, you find that you need somebody hands-on, right? Like you said, you pick your poison or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you feel you can do the social media yourself, okay, great. You feel you can do the content yourself, okay, great. But if you feel you can do your accounting yourself, your content yourself, your social media yourself, now you're doing videos, and then now somebody told you to buy this camera and buy this gear, and right now you're getting into AI and all the software you need to buy. This doesn't do everything you need to do with that. This one you got to put together with that.
The soup is too souped.
Right. And then now it's just a Band-Aid on everything, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? And jack of all trades and master of none. So what are you getting done during the day?
That's a fact.
Right.
That's a fact.
Tons of real estate agents in this area.
Right.
Who's going to be the winner, right? The one I believe is the one who definitely goes all in, right? And says, hey, you know, I'm not going to depend on my spouse or whatever. I'm going to meet my quota. I'm going to set sales goals, right? I'm going to have metrics or whatever, not these feel good metrics, see who's liking me every time or whatever. And you stand by on social media, right? You got to stand by on true activity of what's going on in your business. You know, with these big conglomerates, some of them don't even know what's going on in their business.
Yeah.
You know, why it's dropping. You know, I know talking to you, to tell you, I learned from you as well. Oh,
right. That's cool. You know I learned from you too.
You know, the tenacity is something that can be learned, right?
Thank you.
You know, the mentality is something that can be influential to other people, right? When they see that you're out there doing things or whatever, you know what I mean? That pushes me to keep going, right? There's times I want to give up.
Hey.
You know what I mean? And that's real talk.
Right.
You know, one thing that I think that this tour with you and Retta Young and your associates and other partners or whatever, right? What areas do y'all usually go into, right? Different cities, or y'all stay in Prince William County?
No, we travel. We've been Lorton, Alexandria, wherever the people need us. We are reaching out to different senior centers is a big thing, libraries. And if you check Prince William library system or the county website, you'll see Tiger Team on there, because I've seen us on the library computers and things. So that was amazing when I seen that. I sent it to Retta. But yeah, check your county website. We be popping up everywhere. Wherever they need us, wherever the people are, that's where we're going so we can talk to them.
Right.
Yeah.
So we said a lot of things. If I gel it all together, right? Because you're able to answer these because you've been in business for a while, right? What problems do you solve?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
In the community, what problems have you solved in your own adversities and stuff like that, right? It's a two-part question, but first in the business sense, like for your clients, for other associates, for other business partners or whatever, what problems have you come across and you have solved, and how'd you go about doing that?
Absolutely. So a big problem a big solution that I bring to a lot of people is helping them have time back. So, you know, running in between, we have the sandwich generation, where you have the adults who are taking care of their parents or elder, senior, and then they're taking care of the children. So you run in between doctor, dentist, surgery, and you also trying to get them to soccer practice, homework, bedtime, as well as you need a shower, right? So I bring a solution of bringing that time back to them, bringing that time of not just caregiver parent, but child and parent, right? Because if you've taken care of your family member before, you know how difficult they can be sometimes, especially with you. And you say something and they're like, I ain't doing it. But you have someone else come in and say it, and they're like, oh, okay, well, I guess they did say that, right? It's like, I was saying that all the time, Dad, but now the nurse come and tell you. So just being a part of their family, a part of their community, so that, you know, I can give them that time back. Now, if you've ever, I know that there are a lot of people who reach out to me once something has happened. So along with this Tiger Team and me going out networking and doing this podcast now, people will understand that prevention is king. That's one of my terms. Prevention is king. So you don't want to wait until mom falls down the stairs, or she slips in the bathroom, or she tripped over the dog, right? We want to, when I come in, I do an assessment on that individual. So if they have animals, if they have a whole bunch of rugs, if they don't have a shower chair, if their bed is too high and they can't stand up, you know, solving those problems piece, individual at a time, individualized plan, come up with that plan together with you, the family member, and the whole, family to see what needs to be put in place so that there's less hospitalizations, less chances of them being non-compliant to things. Because I don't say patients are non-compliant. I say that a lot of time is diseducation or miseducation, because when they come into the doctor's office and things, you hear stories and you want to dig in more because there's more to it, but because you're under a time stamp, you can't say but so much. So when I come into the home, I can hear more of their story. I can see more of what's going on in their surroundings. And so that plan, when we come up together, is just about, making sure that it's individualized to them. And I kind of went off topic a little bit, so forgive me for that. But yeah, it's that solution is brought to them of how they can have more of their time back and know that mom and dad is safe. Know that they don't have to, if they're in different households, because mom and dad have been living in this house for 20 years, they don't want to leave. Right. And you live an hour away. And instead of you having to get off work at 6 o'clock at night to go over there to make sure that they took their medications, that the doctor's notes are read, and everybody knows what to do after, say a surgery or something. Why don't you have a nurse that you trust and to go over there? You can call her up. She can tell you and explain to you what's going on. And then you have a sound mind. You can lay down. You can take your kid to a movie. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's one of the big problems I'll solve as far as healthcare goes.
Because I think a lot of people, in your industry as well as in mine, right, they don't investigate into these things because there's a touchy spot when it comes to investment and money, right? They think that these things are beyond their reach. Oh, gosh, meaning that they think these things are not affordable. Right. They think these things are not doable, right?
But yet they got their hair done every week. Oh, the dog went to the groomers.
I was about to set it off. You're right.
They went to let
it go. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They find money to do stuff, and I know it. I seen it.
Right. Because here's the thing. Me and my best friend was talking the other day, right? And we was talking about, okay, you need a car. You need a car to take you from A to B, right? That's your goal, right? Your problem is not that you can't afford a car.
Right.
Your problem is that you're not looking at the heart of what you actually need. And together with a professional, you have to look at the heart of what you actually need. So you need a car to get you from A to B, right? Okay, well, why don't people go out and get a $2,000 car? Because it'll meet your goal. It'll get you where you need to be. All right. But you don't want to get a $2,000 car.
Well, we used to call it a hoopty, a beater.
Right. You don't want to get a $2,000 car. Right. You didn't buy a $5,000 car. Right. You didn't buy a $10,000 or $15,000 car either. Right. Most people in this area are buying Teslas.
Okay.
Right. So
$700 car payments a month.
Right. So you bought a $30,000 car, $40,000 car, $50,000, $60,000 or whatever, right? But your business is not seeing the investment.
Right.
Your car is.
Right.
And here's the thing. Plan, strategy. Now, did you think about how much those tires going to cost after you bought the
oil
car?
change?
The maintenance
a BMW, they said oil change is like $3,000.
The maintenance on your car? What about the maintenance on your business?
Yeah.
Right? You got to maintain your business. And then you maintain your time. Yeah. Are you saving time and money?
Absolutely.
With that $30,000, $50,000 car you bought or whatever. Right? So sacrifice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about entrepreneurs, right? When it comes to being an entrepreneur, right? People are going to sacrifice.
Right, absolutely.
You're going to get in there, and we're not talking about, get in the fire, jumping in the fire. These are the things we're talking about, right? We're talking about a plan, strategy, sacrifice, right?
Right.
Aside from all this other stuff that you're experiencing and learning or whatever, right? These people that are talking to you in these videos, they're not telling you about the gory stuff.
Right, absolutely.
Because it's not sexy, right? We're here to tell you about the real stuff that's going to help you do better in your business.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Now, we're going to test this.
Okay. Well, real quick, I want to say something to the people not saying they don't have enough money, because this came up a couple of times during the Tiger team.
All right.
And I actually spoke to it on Monday, right? Because they're like, oh, nurses are expensive. Okay.
Tell them.
$75 an hour. I'm in your house no more than 3 hours at a time, twice a week. Say $300 a week, right? Which probably about $1,200 a month. You go into a senior living, you go into a nursing home, $5,000 a day. That's a cheap one. Okay, you tell me I'm too expensive.
Rehab
for preventative care. Come on now, like
so let's do this too. Okay, say you working and you got a business on the side, right?
Which I do. I have to pay for the business, so I still work.
So let's take this. Starbucks. Right? There's this book, Automatic Millionaire, right?
Okay.
There's a chapter called The Latte Factor, right? A lot of us got the latte factor, or I call it the Starbucks factor,
Okay.
right? Because the Starbucks is on every corner,
Right.
They on the block, they hustling, right?
The new corner store.
They're in your grocery store, they're in the hotel, and they're on every block in your community, right?
That's a fact. And we are not paid for them, so we're going to say the coffee shop.
Yeah, the coffee shop. We're not getting paid by Starbucks. But if you want to.
Hey, sponsor number one.
So $4 coffee is now gone to a toll. It's now going to maybe $5 and some change.
Right.
Right? And that's basic. Now you want to get the flavor. You want to do your lattes, your cappuccinos, right? You want to do your refreshers, your all that or whatever, right? You're a caffeine addicting person, right? You're addicted to caffeine. So you're doing maybe 2 or 3 coffees a day. So you get one in the morning, you get one at lunch, you probably get one on the way home or whatever.
What?
You know what I mean? You done spend about $20, $30, right? You're probably hungry.
Okay.
Right.
You need a snack.
You're going to eat breakfast at home? You're fixing breakfast at home? Maybe not, right? You're going to eat breakfast.
That muffin look good on the counter.
Right? Them donuts, right? You know what I mean? Them egg and cheese sandwiches.
And they got it right in front of you. So when you get in your coffee, you got it, and you can just pick it up. It's not like they got it behind glass that can stop you.
Right? And then they get lunch.
Right.
So they got a coffee and breakfast. Lunch,
and a
you're going
sandwich.
to get something to drink with that lunch.
Right.
And then, you know what? You're probably tired. You didn't go home. You don't feel like fixing dinner. Right? Now, how much did you spend?
At least $50.
But how much did they spend on their business that day? How much time did they spend on their business that day?
Right.
They did some content though, right? But where did that information that you got from YouTube University, where did that get you? You see what I'm saying? Now you got a bunch of equipment in your house, bunch of lights in your house, cameras, action or whatever, doing all this. But where is it getting you, right? You need to focus on your time and your business, right? So let's test this.
Okay.
You're a CEO, you a boss for sure, right? Now, I got a question. This is the Spitfire round. Spitfire round, right? So I'm gonna put you in the fire.
All right. I don't know if I'm gonna do well. Y'all let me know.
You're gonna do excellent.
Let me know in the comments. Let me know.
She's gonna do great. She's gonna do great, right? Now, you have an elder, right? He might not, he might be a little senile or not in his right mind certain days, might be off a little bit, right? So one particular time, you go to that individual's house, right? And they lost the pill, right? Said, Ronice, you done lost my pill, right? I can't find my pill. What did you do with my pill, right? I don't see it in the dispenser cup, right? What do you say?
Well, are you still taking that pill? Why did I take it out? It must have been a reason, right? So, it's something that is common because people are used to, and I tell my patients all the time, do not know your medication by color or shape. You need to know what your pill is. Now, sometimes it's scored, meaning that they have the little slit in it. Sometimes it's oblong, depend on what pharmacy you go to.
Tell them.
So, knowing your medication by the name, the dosage is the right way, not the color or the shape, right? So first I would say, Is it something that you're still taking? Let's look at your medication list. If the medication list said it's still there, okay, did we put it somewhere else? Did the doctor stop it because you're having surgery? So some medications have to be stopped prior to surgery, like your anticoagulants, your diabetes medications. Please talk to your doctor before doing anything that I'm talking about. But there's a reason behind if I took it that it would not be there. Now, if it's in a place because I have a Grammy. Well, she passed away. Rest in peace, my Grammy last year. Love her. Loved her. She used to try to get into her pill bottles herself. So we had to put them away because she wouldn't remember that either we took it out because she was on dialysis. So it was only every other day she was supposed to take one of her meds, right?
An overdose, yeah.
Right. So we took it out on certain days, but then she would go try to get it because she was like, I'm supposed to have it today. And we're like, no, this is a dialysis medication that you're not supposed to have on your dialysis days. So we put it away. And then we had to actually take the whole containers and things and put them where she couldn't get them. So it could be in the case of that it's a medication that doesn't need to be taken every day. You're not on it anymore. Maybe they change the dosage, or because you have surgery or something. We need to figure out why that happens. So usually when you talk to them and let them know, even if and that's another thing about it being personal, they want to know that who they're talking to, they trust. Now, if it's somebody just coming in and out, like a bigger agency rather than mine, you have a lot of different nurses because maybe somebody called out, maybe somebody needs to go on an emergency, whatever, and you have different people coming in. So those people are like, who is this? I don't know you. I don't trust you. I'm not listening to nothing you say. But with my business, it's continuity of care. And so you're always going to see me. And then as I grow more, we'll see how that goes. But for right now, you're going to see me and you're going to know, oh, okay, this Ronice, she's not going to lie to me. She's going to tell me what it is, or she's going to explain to me what happened. So just talking to them, treating them like people and not like, something's wrong, if that makes sense.
Technique. And it's a strategy called filling the void. She's filling the void, right, in a community of people who need that service because the family doesn't have time to manage that situation. So it's a question for you as an individual and a consumer at home, right? Do you get in those back and forths about medication with your loved one, right? About lost medication or a pill or whatever. So this goes in the second Spitfire question, right? Because you were talking about transparency, right?
Yes.
They see it. You want to make sure they see it. You want to make sure they see you. Want to make sure you see them. They see the situation, right? So there's no argument there, right? So with this transparency, do you advise for some people medicine box, pill box, or the pill dispensary, the machine?
Right. Which one? And to be quite honest, I never, outside of the hospital, I didn't know that they had those dispensaries like that. I think it's a great idea, as long as it's programmed right, because you still have manual labor that has to go into it or whatever, manipulation. It depends on the individual. It depends on that family dynamic. It's just individualized. So what might work as far as dispensary for somebody else, they might actually like their pills containers because it's right at their table that they sit down and read or they drink their coffee every morning, or is right when they turn over in the bed and they sit up and they drink water and they take the medication. So it's based on that individual, right? Is whatever is easiest and more convenient, but also safe for them. Safety first.
Right. So basically, if they might be forgetful, because I know I'm forgetful, right? With all I got going on, or you got going on, people, I got a lot of things going on.
Absolutely.
On top of that, you're a senior, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? So with all the things that people have going on, right? Family, loved ones that need to be taken care of, whatever. Right. So if they advocate for their loved one, right? How should they do that if they don't know the language?
And so
how does communication work there?
That is a great question. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, because part of my business, or part of my mantra mission, is education, advocacy, and there's another one I can't remember, even my own mantra. But anyway, advocacy is a big thing. And when you have some family members are well versed because they've been taking care of their loved ones so long. So they understand the questions that they want to ask the doctor. They're going with their family member to the doctor. But for those who don't have time to take their family members to the 5 doctor's appointments in 3 days, and they have to have another, maybe a auntie or a granddaughter come in and help, do that for that time. And so pieces are broken up and they're trying to piece everything together, right? So as far as advocacy for me goes, when my patients or my adult children talk to me, it's like, we're going to go over, okay, they're going to the cardiologist today. Okay, they have a pacemaker. They're on anticoagulants. He's unsteady, right? So from a cardiologist standpoint, how are their medications right now interacting with each other, right? What needs to be done in order so that if he does fall and hit his head, is he going to bleed out to death? So these are questions that you want to present to your specialist or physician. But if you don't know that mindset or that way of thinking as me as a nurse does, it might be things that you forget, and then you're trying to fight to call them and you're getting upset. I just had a patient tell me this, that they've been trying to call their primary care doctor to get prescriptions refilled and they can't get anybody. So it's like, well, first of all, is it something you have to call the doctor for, or can you just call the pharmacy and refill it? She was like, I don't know. I need to figure that out. I was like, okay. So trying to problem solve with them and just go in steps and in chunks so we can solve it is a big part of what I do, the advocacy part of it. I hope that answers your question. Does
yes.
it? Okay.
2 techniques: problem solve,
advocacy.
Oh my goodness, I can't even communicate. Problem solve, communicate, right? Strategy is advocacy.
Yes.
Right? So fill the void, right? And she listed her techniques for filling the void, right? Giving advice, right? Which is being an advocate, right? And then the techniques of that is basically troubleshooting, problem solving the situation.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And getting in there and communicating what needs to be done, right?
Right.
So that's 2 strategies along with techniques that she's giving you guys, right? Stay along with us, pay attention. There's more to come. So now, that's 2 Spitfire questions.
All right.
Ready for the last one?
Let's do it.
Right. So this is going to throw a curveball outside the industry, right? So you have an irate client.
Oh, this never happens.
Right? They know more than you. Right?
Okay.
The client knows more than a professional. Right?
Could be.
Right? So a lot of times nowadays, right, people perceive that they're educated on something before they come to you, right? So they come to you with some preconceived notions, right? Because it's really not knowledge in a lot of cases, right? So they have these preconceived notions, right? So you ever go back and forth with a particular client because they feel as though they know better, but they came to you for help?
That was the first thing I was going to say. I was like, but why they come to me?
Right.
Why they come to me? Yes. So, yes, this happens, patients. And a lot of times it's because they've been doing things for so long. It's like that mindset, and you can't teach an old dog new tricks or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like that mindset is like, this is what I've been doing and I refuse to do anything else, even though it's not working. And that's why you had to go seek someone. And it's just the point of being empathetic to what they're saying, right? You want to have that empathy, but you also want to bring facts, right? You have to bring facts, because if you just throwing things out there, they're like, whatever. But if you bring facts to it, okay, this medication does this, or this drug interacts with this. Well, we see this happening to you, so why would we not think that's the problem or what caused it? You know what I'm saying? The root cause. So we need to figure out how to separate them so you don't have this adverse reaction to it, right? And sometimes you just have to let them talk and back away. Give it a minute. Let them think about everything that was done, and interaction and everything that happened. And then you'd be surprised at how many people come back to you and be like, well, I thought about what you said and it makes sense. And this does lead to this. So why wouldn't it go here? And da-da-da-da-da. So a lot of times silence is a big thing. And I'm learning more of that, because I'm usually one that want to be like, but sometimes I just sit back and be like, okay. And it gives them time to understand and to just, take in everything that was said and the facts that were given, so they can hear what you were saying, not just listening, but hearing what you were saying, so that we can, move on and see how to fix the problem.
Right. So I would say the professional messages from the street: knowledge, wisdom, understanding, experience, right? And here's another strategy, right? So basically analytics, right? So basically she has data that she's receiving from the individual communicating these emotions or these preconceived knowledge or preconceived notions that they have, right? As if they know something, or as if they're a nurse that they come to you with. She has to analyze the data. So the data is all the chatter that she's getting, the information that she's receiving from the individual. She's internalizing the data, but she has to analyze and listen to what the individual is saying, right? So analytics is not just data, it's analyzing and being a professional to do that. And you have to have gone through some things to know that, right? You have to have gone through some things, right? And if you haven't gone through these things, you won't necessarily know these things or be able to analyze or troubleshoot these things, right? In other words, everybody in life sometimes needs a professional.
Absolutely.
Can you fix your toilet? Probably. Is it a good idea to fix your toilet? You might want to analyze it and think about it.
After 3 weeks of it not working, something needs to be done.
Right. And then if you're a procrastinator, your toilet still ain't fixed, then maybe somebody's going to be like, look, you need to get the toilet fixed. But the longer you wait for something to marinate in your house, at your home, with your loved ones, right? Then sometimes it might be too late. I know that it was time for me to uproot my parents out of Maryland in 2020 during COVID, right? During the onslaught of COVID, I should say, and needed to uproot my parents. So they had to sell their house, right? And we all needed to move into one house. We sold our house, a family of 5. They sold their house, them 2, mother and father. House of 7 people. We needed to find that during COVID, a house that fits 7 people, right? But you have to be able to do all the things that we talked about, right? You have to be able to communicate, analyze, troubleshoot, be willing to go through some things, learn some things. Who did I reach out to? I reached out to people who know. I did not know. I'm not a professional in family care. I'm not a professional in nursing, right? Now, maybe sometimes you have to seek some individual for help and get help. So you can't do everything yourself. This is CEO Talks with PEM. This is Ronice Lowe. I am
BrightSun HomeCare.
BrightSun HomeCare, right? She cares, I care. We're going to see you guys in the future, right?
Holistic care for every part of you.
Indeed. So anything else you want to say to them, folks?
Just thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Well. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for, being that sounding board and someone that I can trust to come to with all of this going on. Our families are big, and I think that's where we connected the most, because you care about your family so much, and I care about my family so much. And then we were entrepreneurs, right? So trying to take care of our home lives, number one, and bringing the entrepreneurship, the CEO, the boss into that, making sure that nothing on their side is skipped, but then adding to them with what we got, our businesses. It's just been great. So I appreciate you, and I thank you for, just being through this journey with me.
Cool. And I appreciate you, and they appreciate you. And, we appreciate y'all as well.
Thank you so much.
So
tune in for the next one. We don't know what we're going to talk about, so.
Yeah, it's a clean slate. You know what I mean? Bigger and better things that we're doing here.
Absolutely.
Right? Taking it to the next level. As always, we're signing out. Peace.
Peace.